Hi, this is the second episode of my knitting podcast. My name is Bethany and I am in Kentucky in the United States. You can find me on Instagram as Yourhightness and on Ravelry as Yourhightness. I am really glad to be able to talk to you guys. I will be talking quickly because I have things that I have to do now that my babies are asleep. But the thing that I've been wanting to do for days and days is talk about knitting. And I've had some really low energy days. And so I'm just stoked to be able to do this evening. First finished object, guys. I just took them off my feet because I've been wearing them and I'm so excited that I can wear something that I have knit for my podcast. That's so great. As I said, I might be a little manic because I'm so excited. These socks are fantastic. I live on an army base. You may hear low flying helicopters quite a bit, but everything's fine. These are fantastic. They did not end up lining up at all, even though I tried a little bit. I didn't try too hard, but I tried a little bit. But they didn't match up at all, which is fine though. They're the same colors and they're fun. The other thing that didn't match up at all is I was planning on doing the sock exactly like the pattern said for, my first pair of socks that I've knit ever. And I didn't do any part of it the same way for either sock. So, I believe that this sock, the cuff on this sock is correct. You can see that's a 1x1 and this is a 2x2. And then the heel on this sock is correct, I believe. And this is a modified Eye of Partridge heel. Okay, guys, I'm not sure which one's modified because this is what the pattern looks like on there, right? On how it's supposed to be. But I did it this way at first, thinking, oh, that's weird that there's a 4-row repeat when all the 2 rows are the same. They're not. They're supposed to look like this. And then I got to the end with the toes and I thought, okay, I realized that I said I was going to follow the pattern, but obviously I've had issues with that already. And the pattern is My Favorite Vanilla Socks by the person that I will link in the description box. Everything that I talk about, including my Instagram link and all of that, is going to be in the description box. So go ahead and check it out if you want to look any of it up. But I knew I didn't want to do a wedge toe, and I believe that's what is in that sock recipe. So I've been talking about these socks to my husband and he's kind of over it, which is funny, but I've been listening to Kay Jones talk about her umbrella toe. And the umbrella toe is in her Drippity Drop socks pattern and her Prairie socks pattern. I purchased the Prairie socks pattern and I haven't even knit the Prairie socks. I specifically purchased it because I wanted to know how to do the umbrella toe because it's so great. I did it on these socks, which are hard to see. They're hard to see, but you can see this line here. And it's just a really great way to decrease on the toes without getting any ladders or weird weak points in your socks. So, because I can even stretch it and there's not like, you can't see any holes in there. But speaking of holes, also with Kay's pattern, she gives you a video tutorial on how to do the Kitchener stitch, which the Kitchener stitch is it's so smart. I think it's so great. I hear people bad-mouthing it, and I'm like, guys, this is a genius thing that someone came up with. We should live in gratefulness. I don't know if I'll always feel that way, but that's how I feel right now. But I have this habit that I've been trying to get out of where I think I know what someone's going to say in a pattern. I think I know what someone's going to tell me to do 2 steps later. And so I just do what I think they're going to tell me to do, and that's not what they were going to tell me to do. which makes sense because I wouldn't call myself there's like a piece of hair here. I wouldn't call myself a beginner knitter, but I'm not advanced either. So I am learning to take it step by step. It's a process, right? But because I did it wrong the first time and I had to undo it and then I had to watch it very carefully and do it again, this one came out with some little holes in the toe. You can see it. You can see it right there. Where is it? Right there. And then when I did it correctly the first time with this one, there's no holes whatsoever. It's so beautiful. So they're the best socks ever. And I already took out the stitch marker, but it was right here, guys. That's how far I've gone. Last time we talked, I was right here on the first sock. And I'm so happy to wear them because I've been thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I was always able to wear something that I knit for my podcast? And at this point, it will be possible because I will just find these socks every time. And no, I'm kidding. I'm hoping to knit new things too, but this is just so great. And I always think it's funny that knit objects are so much bigger. This is bigger than any of my other socks, but obviously it fits me. And they have been run through the dryer once, which I did not do. My loving husband was doing laundry, and this knitting journey for me is relatively new. So he didn't know to even look for knit things. But I'm kind of glad he did because they did felt a little, I think. This is a sock yarn, so it's an 80-20 of wool and nylon. And it felt it a little, but it's not bad. It's not bad. And I heard some people who knit who say they just do that all the time. And I think that's crazy talk. But they survived. So maybe it's not crazy talk. Maybe people who have been knitting longer than me know what they're talking about. What? So that is my first and only finished object for July. More helicopters. Last month I showed you the black bunny sweater that I finished, and I think that technically was finished at the 1st of July, but whatever. This is the only thing I've gotten finished since then. I was hoping, moving on to WIPs, I was hoping to have finished the brown bunny sweater for my oldest son by the time this one came around, but as I said, I've had some really low energy days and we're just working through that. Yeah, he picked out this button because he says it looks like Zelda, the video game. He says it looks like Zelda, so I think that's adorable. I have about 4 more inches to go on this sleeve, which is funny because I think that's the same length as his younger sister's sleeve, maybe. But also with raglan increases, that's kind of, I don't understand the math really yet. I don't really get it. So I'm still learning about that. And I finally did the increases. Can you see? I finally did the increases the way the pattern said to do them. I didn't realize I was doing them wrong. And I just don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about it. I think the little holes next to it, I don't know if I like that better than what I was doing. Yeah, I'm still debating. So this one's close to being done. The ears are on, the button's on. I just need to finish the sleeves and then make the little button loop for it, which is a crochet thing to do. And I lost my crochet hook, so I had to get another one. I've lost several things, guys, since we last talked, and it's not good. It's just not good. I want to blame my children, but I just don't know if they're the reason. And I was here the last time we talked. So even though it's not done, there's a lot that has happened, obviously. So next time we talk, I hope that one will be done. He keeps asking me. It's like, is it done? Are you done now with it? Are you done now? No, honey. No, no, no. And this is my blanket that I've been working on. Last time I was like, here, And I've been doing the different stripes here, and now we're on this linen stitch. It's killing me. I am knitting at a glacial pace because I don't like the linen stitch. I think it looks neat. I think it looks really neat. The way it looks woven, I think it looks really neat. And I anticipated liking it. And I don't think it's, I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic because it's just like a rib. You just move the yarn different, you know what I mean? Like anyway, if you know how to do the linen stitch, you know how. And it's not that much different. There's not that much more moving than a rib that you would do for a sock, but I'm just like, I'm not happy about it. And I have another, I'm about halfway done with this stripe, and so and I have to do it again on the other blanket, which is fine because I'll have, you know, 3 stripes before I even get to that, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I'm really loving all the texture and the colors. These are the colors that come with the plum berry kit from Annie's Kit Club. So I really like that. And I also like the colors I picked for the other cotton ones. So I need to focus on the blankets and just get them caught up. But I've been very excited about some other projects. So obviously I only have so much time in a day, even though I knit so much during the day, guys. So much. The other thing, I'm not going to show you the other blankets because I haven't made any more progress on those. So if you're new and you want to see those blankets, you can totally check them out on the last, on the first episode on the channel. The next thing I want to show you, I'm not counting it as finished because even though it is a sock that's finished, isn't this cute? It's very cute. It's a gift. So obviously I have to have the second sock finished for it to be a finished gift. This is Hermione's everyday sock. You can see the pattern on there. Isn't that sweet? I'm going to move my face so it'll focus. And this heel and the umbrella toe again because I'm in love with the umbrella toe. I may do the umbrella toe my entire life. I may never try another toe. It's so great. It's so great. Anyway, this is a funny joke because my sister is a birder and there's this bird called the bush tit, and we were making jokes about the bush tit and made my mom uncomfortable, and I thought it was so funny. And so for her birthday, I'm knitting her the bush tit socks. And obviously they're the Hermione's everyday pattern, which looks fabulous with this yarn. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I actually like the way that the colors look better than if it were just vanilla like on the bottom. I like that a lot because the bush tit is a cream bird with brown and gray. I think it has a cream belly and it has brown and gray on its wings and its tail. So that's what these are. I have to finish the other one. It is not very far along. It's just got one repeat of the pattern on it after the cuff, so we gotta keep working on that. And these little stitch markers came with something that I ordered. Oh, they came with this bag. Duh. Okay, so they came with this bag, which is my one and only project bag. I love it. I love it. Mostly because my son, my baby, is not pulling all of my double pointed needles out of my socks anymore. I do have an Addi needle now, which I really am liking using. It's a little blunter than I would like because I started using these Chow Goos for the brown sleeve. I really like the Chow Goos. The hype about the Chow Goos is real. If you hear people talking about Chow Goos, it's because they're great. For a while I've been like, what is with everyone in the Chow Goos? It's because they're great. They're great for several reasons, but they're great. And these Addis are fine. They're fine. They're just blunter than I would like, so it's harder to sort it out. So I might just get another pair of Chow-Goos in the 2.5 so I can finish these. I might. And the toes and heels are in this Patton's Croy Socks yarn, which I think is so yummy. It's a little bit toothy, and that's what these were done in. They're the FX line in clover colors, which, guys, the drama around getting the yarn for that, I thought I wasn't going to be able to find another one. There was one left at the store that I originally got the other one at. I didn't realize that this is only 50 grams of yarn, which means that I did one sock, and I had this much left after my first sock, and obviously I'm not making a sock out of this. So I made the other sock, and I had this much left. And I'm thinking, oh no, I'm thinking maybe I can make, I don't know, put them in a scrappy project, or there's enough to make a cuff, I think. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking through how to salvage scraps. I see a lot of projects that use them, and I think that's really smart. But this is so yummy. I like it a lot. It's very warm. And I think there's enough, though, even after I do the next sock, I think there would be enough for me to make a pair of socks for myself. Especially if I did heels, toes, and cuffs with this. I think I would really like that. So then we could both have bush tit socks. Hilarious. And I might not be able to show you when they're done because her birthday is this month. And obviously I do this once a month, and so in September I might not be able to show you. We'll see. We won't see, because I won't be able to show you if I finish them in time. I don't think I think I'm gonna have them finished in time. Also, speaking of gifts, this is a little frog. He's gonna turn into a little frog, as in Frog and Toad. He's a little stuffy, and his corresponding Toad stuffy I haven't made yet. There's a provisional cast on up here for him, so that when I finish the bottom and fill him up with whatever I'm going to fill him up with, then I can just pull that out and do a Kitchener stitch on top of his head, like a sock, and then he'll be all seamless and ready to go. Guys, the provisional cast on and the Kitchener stitch, like, those are thoughts of genius. Honestly, I know there are people who do not like them, but more helicopters. I think they're genius. I enjoy them so much. So much. So this little guy, it's tearing up my hands a little bit because this yarn does not stretch, and these are small needles. Anyway, yeah. So I've been keeping this and my sock, my bush tit socks, in this bag, and it is my one and only project bag. It comes from, what does it say, a Stitchy Girl studio. She has an Etsy shop, and this print is called We're Doomed. It's the Star Wars print. I think it's so cute, and it's been so helpful to be able to put my knitting in my bag and know that it's not going to get super messed up. And now I don't mind waiting in line anywhere at all. It's great. Fantastic. Frog and Toad also have clothes, which I will be making as well. It's so cute. They're so cute. And they look grumpy, just like the books. I'm very excited about it, if you couldn't tell. Also, you'll notice that I finished one project and I cast on 4 more. Which, oh, there's a gnat in here. Oh no. Oh no. I hope there's only one so that it dies and they're not like breeding in here. Sorry. I finished one project and I cast on 4 more. I obviously can't keep up with that type of exponential growth. So I'm gonna have to finish some things. But the thing that I am gonna be working on for myself, this is Holst Garn yarn. I love it. It's so great. This is the super soft wool, and the color is in Tundra. The oh, I haven't been doing a very good job of telling you what I've been using. So the bunny hoodies and the frog are of 100% cotton yarn, and that's from the Peaches and Cream line. You can pick those up at like Joann Fabrics or Hobby Lobby. The socks are from the Croy Socks yarn, which also you can do, I think, just at Joann's. And then this is the color way is called Tabby, like the cat. And that's at Hobby Lobby. They have some hand-dyed yarn there, and it's super great. And that's just 100% wool. So the reason I did the toes and the heels in the Croy socks is because there's nylon in that, and so it'd be reinforced in those areas. So catching up, this is Holst Garn yarn in the color Tundra, which I don't know why it's called Tundra because it's green, but I guess, I don't know. But I really like the color. In fact, I'll probably be using it a lot. And guys, it came in and it's so big. It's so big. Oh my goodness. I've even wound off this much of it so that I could hold it double for this. This is Jessie Mae's My Secret Crop, My Secret Little Crop. And I am just past the bottom ribbing and working my way up with the bigger rib pattern. I'm having some separation issues with where it goes from, you can see where it goes from, maybe you can't see, where it goes from knit to purl here, it's fine, but when I go from purl to knit, I've got like these little ladders. And obviously that's a tension issue, but I'm not sure how to remedy that. So since I don't know how, I'm thinking maybe it'll block out. Maybe. Because because this is super toothy. This is the toothiest stuff I've ever had my hands on. But it says once you rinse it, it gets super duper soft. So here's hoping that's true. And I'm very excited about making it. I'm probably the last person on earth who's cast on a Jessie Mae design, but I'm doing it, first of all, because I've already had her pattern set aside for a while. And second of all, because Scratch Supply, which is a yarn shop in, it's Northeast. I want to say New Hampshire, but I don't think that's right. So they're in the Northeast in the United States, and they're doing a knit along called Make Good Made Along, and that's a play on Jessie Mae's name. So it's Make Good MAED Along. And because they have a podcast, an audio podcast called Make Good, and I've been binging their podcast, I'm finally caught up, and so I am doing the knit along with them. I'm very excited. They never require people to be absolutely done with things by the time the knit along is done. But I'm hoping that because the knit along is supposed to end more helicopters. It actually makes me feel safe now that I live on an army base. Isn't that funny? We live near the shooting range too, so if you hear gunfire, we're all fine. They're just practicing. And so yeah, I'm excited about finishing that. It's just so great. Now, I went to my local yarn shop. It's called the Wooden Needle. It's here in Trenton, Kentucky. It's near Clarksville. So if you're in the area, holy moly, you should go see them. They are so helpful and fun. And I don't have any in-person knitting friends. I follow a bunch of people online, and everybody that I've interacted with has been so nice, and Oh, Kay Jones commented on my socks with the umbrella toe. I was like, hello, and that was so great. And so, but going into my local yarn shop was, oh, I was almost hyperventilating. It was so nice. There was so much yarn. There were Chaogu needles everywhere. I'm using Chaogus on this one and on the 9-inch circulars for the brown bunny hoodie, and on this one that I'm about to show you. They are great. The hype about them, I totally get it. Totally get it. And I've picked up all those Chaogu needles at my local yarn shop. I'm so happy that I have one. I didn't know if I had one for a while, but then when I was listening to the Make Good podcast, and they were like, basically every problem, they were like, go into your local yarn shop and talk to the people there. And then someone else would, write in, and they'd be like, here's what you do. You go into your local yarn shop and you talk to the people there, which makes total sense because they own a yarn shop and they want to be able to help people. Anyway, they're fabulous. So the next thing that I cast on, which I'm loving, it is made, it's being knit with Juniper Moon Stargazer in terracotta, and it is 70% llama and 30% silk. I was originally gonna do it in wool and silk. Come on camera, you can do it. There we go. I was originally gonna do it in a silky merino is what the pattern calls for, but I squished this in the store and I fell in love. I fell in love. So this is the first time that I've actually put a provisional cast on together. This is a little tube that is going to have a braided tie in it for this top. It's called the Cala Galdana top by, I believe her name is Cat Weaver. Her YouTube channel is Heather and Hops, and I love watching her. She's such a chill person, and yeah, she's always drinking her tea, and it's really great. So this is as far as I've gotten. I have that little marker there because that's one repeat of what I'm supposed to do for like 90 rows. So, and look at this provisional cast on seam. Look at that beautifulness. Look at it. I keep thinking there's something wrong with this, but it's just a little thing in the yarn. It's fine. It's just a little something in there. I'm not sure what it is, but I didn't do anything wrong with it. It's so seamless. So seamless. She said to do the stretchiest cast on you know how to do, and then after these, this amount of rows, pick up the stitches with it. And I thought that's what a provisional cast on is supposed to do, right? Like, make it really stretchy, and then you can just pull it, unzip it, and put it together. So I'm in love with the provisional cast on right now. Absolutely in love. And what you do with this one is you work the back and the front, and then you join it in the round. It's a tank. And it's so pretty. The bottom has this design on it that's really pretty. I'm very excited about continuing this, and I only want to work on this right now. The yarn is so soft and the needles are so nice, and so it's just a really nice sensory experience, and so I just want to do these all the time. But this is for me. They have obviously gifts to make. The little frog is for the frog and toad gifts are for my nephews, and their birthdays are this month as well. So those are priority, obviously, because they have a timeline, and my son is anxiously waiting for his sweater. So those are the priority. I was gonna show you. Oh, right. Okay. So I got a new book. and it is called Knit Step by Step, Techniques, Stitches, and Patterns Made Easy. And that last part is intriguing to me. So my husband just got home. I'm hearing the door open. But I am really interested in reference materials. I don't hold anything in my head right now around knitting. I just am looking things up over and over again about what I want to do. So this has all these reference tables and things around yarn, and it even has swatches of different kinds of yarn that you can look at. I really like it, and it goes through like the symbols on the yarn labels and everything. You can go through your color wheel and see how that's done. This goes through like yarn weights and recommended needle sizes. Yarn weights, they mess up my brain. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not there yet. So that's very helpful. And I'm really pleased with this purchase. I know that a lot of people like the Vogue book, and I looked at that a little bit while I was at the store, and it was the Vogue Beginning to Knit book, and I don't know if the Vogue Knitting book and the Vogue Beginning to Knit book are different. I'm not sure. But I liked this one better than the Beginning to Knit book because it had more of what I don't know in it at this point. What are we at? Helicopter number 4? Is that helicopter number 4? And then here are the things that I would like to do in this upcoming month. So I have just started knitting with a capital K this year, but I am a sewist first. And before I purchased my project bag from a Stitchy Girl studio, I thought, you know what? I could make the project bag. I know how to sew. I could do that. And that's true. But if I'm making project bags, then I'm not knitting, which, you know, if I'm knitting other things, I'm not knitting the blankets. But anyway, I have this great idea though. I do want to make myself some project bags, and I would like to make them from these tea towels. My husband's grandmother gave them to me, and they're beautiful and obviously vintage, and I want to make them into project bags because I don't use them as tea towels because I don't want to get them dirty. I used to use them as tea towels, and then a couple of them got stained by Dee, and that was a sad day. So they're these great tea towels with English themes on them, because my husband's grandpa, who has completely, I mean, both of them have, his grandma and his grandpa have completely adopted me as their own. They're just so loving and so wonderful. He's from England, and so these all have English themed things on them. And I would like to use this like faux leather on the bottom. I think that would be fun. And it's a way for me to use them and enjoy them, which is obviously why she gave them to me in the first place. But I don't use them and enjoy them right now because I don't want to get them dirty. So, yeah. Oh, and here's the tragedy, guys. First of all, I've lost several of my double-pointed needles. I don't know what has happened. And you know, you can't really do anything with 3 double-pointed needles. So here's hoping that they find their way back to me, that the Lord just opens my eyes in ways that they've never been before, and that I can see where they are. Because I don't know what's happened to some of them. Like, I truly am retracing my steps mentally and can't figure out what I've done. So I tried, for these bunny hoodies, there are a few points where you're supposed to use a crochet hook, and that's fine. I've worked through it. It's fine. I wasn't happy about it at the beginning because I purchased the pattern, and then I was like, what do you mean I need to know how to crochet and knit? That's not what I signed up for. So I'm not even sure where the top of this is, but I got this ergonomic crochet hook and I really liked it a lot. But I have this horrible habit of tucking things under my leg that I need to use later. I even do it with my phone or my wallet or anything really that I want to look at later or I'm gonna need in a second. I tuck them under my leg, and this worked its way down near my ankle, and I got up off of the couch and just snapped the head off it completely. And so the handle is really nice and rubbery and it was really great to use, but now it's garbage. So I'm gonna have to get another one. And I ordered these stitch markers from Pretty Stitch Markers on Etsy, and they're these forest themed ones. They're so sweet. There's this acorn and a squirrel and a tree and a hedgehog and a leaf. I thought they were so great. And I ordered these, and I think they come from the United Kingdom, so they took a little bit, which is fine, understandable. But I needed some pretty quickly, and so I went to Hobby Lobby and got some more because you can't have too many, right? Like, I've never heard a knitter be like, oh man, I have too many stitch markers. So those are beautiful, and I'm excited about using those. And I got the crochet hook I needed, but I'm so sad about the ergonomic one. So sad. And I think in the future I'm always going to be checking my local yarn shop first. I've gone to Michael's and Joann's and Hobby Lobby, and I'm getting to the point now, which it's exciting to get to this point where I'm getting to the point now where I'm not satisfied with a lot of the things that they have to offer there. I think the one thing that Michael's had that the other places didn't have were the ergonomic knitting needles too. Arnie and Carlos really like those. And so I've been intrigued by them, especially since there's a little bulb on the top of it. I've always thought like, I don't know if I would like that because I'm not a fan of the really blunt needles. I am scared of the Hiya Sharps for sure. I'm sure that if I bought them, my children would accidentally stab themselves when I left the room. But I really like the Chow Goose. They're really nice middle ground for that. And hopefully I'll have more project bags that I've made next time we speak, because then I can actually fit things in my project bags instead of just covering them with a blanket right now. I just kind of pile them nicely and then cover it with a blanket so no one will mess with them. It's a horrible idea. It's only worked for so long. I think it's at the end of it working. One more helicopter. Maybe this is the last one before we end. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking here at receipts because I want to make sure that I show you what so this Addi needle that I was using on the bush tit socks, I got from Handsome Fibers. They have an Etsy shop. And the Addi needles, they're kind of funny with those, with one being longer than the other one. I think that's interesting. And less helpful than I thought, though. Maybe I would think they were super helpful if they were not as blunt. I'm not sure. I'm sorting through. And then the Holst Garn yarn, that I think, it must come from a Nordic. Oh, it comes from Denmark. It comes from Denmark. And it is, so it says Post Nord. So it took a little bit to get here, which makes sense. But I was so excited for it. I was watching quite a bit for it to get here. And it's so reasonable. The price is so reasonable, y'all. I'll tell you that much right now. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've missed. I did realize after doing my clover color socks that I purchased this one and that blue red one up there in the patent Croy socks, and I didn't buy another one. I just bought one thinking that one gives you a pair of socks, and they don't. And so I'm gonna have to buy one more of each of those. And hopefully I will have, it's so funny. I want to meet my goals, right? But part of my knitting process is to let go of some goals and to be okay with being that this is a type of productivity that doesn't require much of me. I have lived a lot of my life trying to be as productive and efficient as possible, and I'm a little burnt out by that. And I really love that knitting gives me the opportunity to just slow down and breathe and move my hands and think. And so I'm on this continual reminding of myself to chill out basically while I'm knitting, which is such a funny thing because the whole point of knitting for a lot of people, including me, is to chill out. But oh well, so be it. I am hoping though that I will be able to wear these tank tops before the end of the summer. I know I am late on the seasonal knitting front. I was obviously knitting myself wool socks during the summer, but of course socks are a really good thing to be knitting during the summer, so it's not all over your lap. And they're done now, and I love them. So I was going to tell you something else, but I can't remember. So if I remember, I will put it somewhere in the show notes on the bottom. Thank you so much to, oh, that's what I wanted to say. I'm glad I remembered. Hello, 66 subscribers. That's so surprising to me. You are so sweet. And thank you to everyone who commented on the last video with congratulations and tips. And I'm so glad that my mom's phrase about if you can read, you can do, insert here, that has given people a lot of confidence. That has given me a lot of confidence in my life and been so helpful. And so I've been thinking about like having a mama saying at the, for every episode. And I've been trying to think of what she would say about what's happening in my knitting journey right now. I talk about her like she's not alive. She's still alive. I talk to her all the time. She's fine. But I think the momism that would apply to this situation is she talks a lot about 100% efficiency. And that 100% efficiency actually works best when you do the thing that you're best at and you let this other person do the thing that they like. If you are 90% efficient at doing the dishes and the person who's working with you is 70% efficient at sweeping, even if you're 90% efficient at doing both of those things, it's not 100% efficient for you to take over their job. It's actually 100% efficiency. You're working at 100% efficiency when you're doing the dishes and they're sweeping. And if you can let that happen, it's actually a more efficient way to work. And I'm trying to look at my knitting. Obviously, I'm the only one knitting, but looking at it in kind of a 100% efficiency way, where I think if I don't want to be knitting on the blanket right now, it's going to be so slow. And if I just wait for the time where I want to knit on that, it'll be way faster and I won't be wasting my time. Oh, one more did come. I won't be wasting my time trying to make myself enjoy the hobby that I've chosen to enjoy. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So remembering to work at 100% efficiency, whether it's just myself, depending on what I am really motivated to work on, is something that I've been pondering. So, which would explain why I only finished one project and cast on 4 more. Because I didn't want to work on the blankets right now. But I will be working on the blankets. I'm sure at some point during the next 30 days, I will want to work on the blankets, even though that didn't happen in the last 30 days. Logic is not following me well at this time in the evening. So thanks so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you've done that. And thank you for watching if you're new. Please let me know if you have a tip for me, if you have encountered needles that I haven't talked about and want to share. I am a resource junkie and would love to hear about anything you have to share with me. I am relatively new to the knitting community and have enjoyed being part of it so much. And yeah, this is my stash right now. That's my stash. Isn't that great? A lot of it is set aside for projects. That shelf there, this one down here, that's reclaimed yarn that I still have to work on. This is for bunny sweaters, the little bunny sweaters. That's for the square blankets. That's for the big bunny sweaters. That's just extra yarn. I have like 6 of those. And then on the very top shelf that you can't see, those are the striped blankets that I need to finish. But there we have it. That's episode 2, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you next month.